Welcome aboard, everyone. Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are in the world. Guys, quick update here on EWT Energy Web Token. As you know, this is one of our key crypto assets within our portfolio. Of course, we've done many intro videos and information around this project. You understand the passion and enthusiasm that we have for this when we look at the world in a supposed energy crisis, supply chain crisis. Energy Web Token, amongst other projects similar to this, are working in the background to essentially take over not just tokenomics aspect of energy stock, moving about transactions, sharing of energy data between one another, but they are also working with governments worldwide right now to encourage a transition sooner rather than later. Do not believe the hype of news media outlets. There are no shortages other than the fact that they force them so that they can bring in new, efficient technology such as this. That is my opinion. We stick by this. We've followed this research and information for multiple years. And finally, when we got the answer of blockchain in our minds, we realized what exactly is going on. Follow the money, honestly. What is happening with Energy Web in the last few days, guys? Well, absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to go through this entire report. I'm on page 35 out of, oh gosh, still got so long to go. 35 out of 55, so I've been taking notes along the way. We will cover this piece of information in another video during the week. But yes, a very insightful report here from EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum. A few mentions here on Energy Web, but generally a multitude of information around energy and the usage via blockchain and current cryptocurrency technologies out there, and how that has affected the energy situation and why Energy Web Token, or Energy Web in general, the foundation, is such a heroic aspect of energy efficiency moving forward within blockchain. So I'll keep an eye out for that, guys, during the week. I'll have a mini kind of update on that. But our main piece of news today for Energy Web Foundation is this cooperation with Ocean Protocol. Kind of a nice interlacing of creative work here in terms of the ocean and the energy, of course. But Ocean Protocol, unfortunately, isn't anything to do with the ocean as such. It's more to do with data. So for Ocean Protocol, in case you're interested, you can of course purchase this asset on a multitude of exchanges, which include the following: Binance, Kraken and KuCoin, on a multitude of different pairings. Of course, main ones, as you would understand, BUSD on Binance, of course USDT, and there's some availability via ETH and BTC as well. So if you are interested in that protocol, absolutely phenomenal project. We need to do a video on this one actually, hopefully this week or the week after. But of course, very much around giving people the power back in terms of their data ownership, and putting this on a decentralized aspect, in the sense that you should have the authorization opportunity and the ability to have the rights to decide where your information and data goes, and sell your data if you wanted to. So there's a lot of companies in the background, not naming names, but whether they're through smartphones or search engines, your data is consistently being sold. And there's a great Russell Brand video quite recently actually about your data and you as a person being sold to a multitude of companies without your knowledge, or you've signed up to something without knowing. And that happens a lot. I mean, how many of us read like the terms and conditions when we're upgrading our phones and things like that? You know what I mean? That's how they get around it. But I think there needs to be a lot more regulation. I'm amazed. There's so much regulation conversation about such nonsense around this world. But when it comes to us as people, we're like the down at the bottom of the pile. It's like, oh yeah, maybe we should bring in better regulation for better communication from companies when we're actually utilizing data, rather than just hiding it in a couple of lines in row Z or X or something in the pile of nonsense terms and conditions you've added for the next upgrade. So Ocean Protocol is very much around that, especially delivering around the Web3 data protocol and economies. So like I said, we'll do a video on that, but it's fantastic news for the partnership of Energy Web. And I think there was a quote actually which I was reading a a couple of days ago. So I think Walter Koch, I believe his name is, managing director of the lab. So Energy Web's Innovation Hub, that's what the lab stands for. So the former CEO of Energy Web itself, with the decentralization of energy assets, energy market participants need your data to operate the markets. With Ocean Marketplace, you can monetize your data whilst not giving up ownership. Welcome, Ocean, to the Energy Web. Fantastic little introduction from them. But yeah, it is absolutely fantastic to see this partnership, and we've mentioned many times on previous videos with Energy Web, you know, this whole crisis situation around the world, of course, trying to push people into electric. You know, I'm personally looking at battery solutions for my home, to be able to sell data of energy to other people who are on blockchain technology rather than this. I don't want to be associated with all these horrible energy companies anymore, especially in the UK, where we've a lot of people have had lack of access to energy because their energy company's gone down, and conveniently the top five have been able to swoop in, monetize the situation, take control of these projects, these companies, and then offer people what arguably a solution when actually it's complete criminal activity, in my opinion, most of the time. Obscene rates of energy, both in business and domestic use. I'm tired of this, guys. I'm so tired of these functional institutions that have been around for decades thinking they have the power. Excuse the pun. It is time for the people to hit back. Yes, Energy Web is involved in a multitude of these companies, but there has to be a way through blockchain, using data, using the ability to send and receive information and energy stock back and forth as you please, selling it, any excess energy that you have, onto blockchain. This is what I want to see. And Energy Web provides that essential foundation, in my opinion, amongst other assets to do it as well. We covered power recently. There's a multitude of different ones. We'll probably have to do a refresh on the energy tokens again, because I think it's an interesting topic right now. But I certainly feel, especially when I've been reading recently about like Tesla, for example, there's a big operation going on at the moment where, of course, if you've got too much battery capacity in your car still remaining, you could actually plug it into your system at home or whatever, and then use your excess energy and send it to someone else who may be stuck perhaps on a motorway or something, and utilizing that energy process of essentially sharing. And I think it's quite an interesting concept. But for me, I want more and more power back to people within regulatory aspects. Of course, it's you have to have some forms of regulation and standardization, of course. But I think it's time. It's time to open our arms to this. And I have no doubt in my mind that all the conversations, the nonsense media conversation. Do you know what, actually, guys? This is true. Earlier today, I was round my mum and dad's, and they listened to LBC, right? London Broadcasting Centre or whatever, usual propaganda nonsense that's thrown out left, right, and centre. I called them up because there was a topic of crisis of energy, and there's always people calling in with useless information and like, I've been queuing this, blah blah blah, hypocritical nonsense, blah blah blah. And I rang up and I said, do you know what? And they said, hello, what would you like to talk? And I said, I'd like to talk about blockchain, please, and what's actually really happening and how tokenomics is going to take over this industry and why this situation is occurring. And they went, oh, well, actually, we're not really talking about that. We're just talking about how it affects you as a person with no energy. And I was like, yeah, but surely people want to know like why this is possibly happening and also what the results are in the near future so people can plan. No, we're not really interested. Well, of course you're not interested in that, because your agenda is exactly the same pretty much as the government's scaremongering tactics to increase the scarcity of things, to inflate prices and make people more and more deprived and poverty driven. Guys, winter is coming. Sorry, Game of Thrones, don't throw me out on the copyright here, but winter is coming, and you know what that means. Do you know how many deaths there are per year? Not just in this country, countries around the world, because people can't afford their energy bills. Why are we in this sick world still? Let's take it to them, guys. Get involved in blockchain technology, things like Energy Web Foundation, where we can make a difference. I'm not just investing this to make money. I want to change the world. And I want to be an influential person in this world of change. I want to bring power back to people. I want diversification. I want fairness. I want equality. some of the good principles of Agenda 30 at least. Guys, let's go into the chart. We're on a major rant here. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and make sure if you are new, do so as well. Welcome aboard. I hope you're enjoying the content. Guys, Energy Web hasn't had a gigantic amount of movement since the last video. We also had this big uptake here. Just for reference, let's take a look at what kind of jump that was. Excuse the processing power of my terrible laptop here. It is a bit slow at the moment. So we've had this movement here of around 40% from this point here on the 29th of September at a low of, if I can read that, 8.04. So around $8, sorry. We have the uptake to reasonably around where we were yesterday of a high of a 10.05, 10.05, so 10, just over $10, guys. So not a massive move, but I think it's a good move in the sense of percentage gains. Absolutely, this has got a long way to go, guys, in my opinion. I think first of all, from a short-term gain perspective, we're nowhere near still of that all-time high previously at around $23. I don't think it's going to stop there, guys. I truly believe this could be around that sort of $50 to $70 mark, not necessarily towards the end of this year, but certainly around the bull run era of these next few months upcoming. But in the long term, I honestly think it's going to be something like a Tesla partnership or something like this that's going to take EWT to another level, as well as, of course, other exchange listings. KuCoin, in my opinion, is a fantastic platform, but I do want to see this in a multitude of other top tier accounts and more awareness around this project and understanding of it. This thing will fly. Some may look at this and go, oh, it's not like the penny stock and this, that, and the other, it's too expensive. Do not think about things like that in that way all the time. This has the opportunity to be hundreds and hundreds, or if not thousands, over the years. I'm honestly thinking that because the energy crisis is a topic at the moment. We've got generally the Agenda 30, you've got the COP26, World Economic Forum pushing energy transition. Blockchain is a consistent conversation. If you deep dive into educational material within things like Agenda 30 document, you can download it on the UN website. It's not a conspiracy theory. Stop thinking everything's a conspiracy theory. It's not until you open up your mind and actually do some research and educate yourself, rather than follow the nonsense educational systems that are out there currently, you will find these answers. COP26, obviously, one of the key aspects will be about energy, and I guarantee to you there will be conversations about blockchain. It will always be about that nonsense narrative about Bitcoin using this and that energy, when actually the topic is about how will blockchain transition our world, not just on AI and IoT. We talk about that a lot in AI videos and things like that, but the energy sector is untouched in this section, in my opinion. Not many people talk about or think about it, and I don't know why. Follow the money. If the news and media is talking about something so much, find the answer and solution before it becomes mainstream information. AI, IoT, trust me, these things are massive, trillions and trillions of dollar markets. I know for a fact. I work in those sectors myself. I also have a general passion for the environment and the energy sector since I was probably about 15, 14 years old when I saw the first concepts of wind turbines. And here we are today, talking about an energy crisis, yet we have more and more sustainable solutions than ever before. How have we got an energy crisis? There isn't one. It's a transitional agenda. EWT is one of the answers, guys. Where do I see this going in the near future? Before I continue my rant. So, guys, we are floating around. I don't know if you can see this too well. Let me try and zoom in here. So I've just overlaid a macro chart here so we can see, actually, to be fair, bang on support lines. So these last 2 days, including today, we're trying to fixate a support mechanism around this $10.80 mark, which is currently at of recording time where we are sat. Weekly, we are 5% up. Year to date, 75% up. Still down 40% on the 6 months, but that is including a couple months overlap of the previous intake of a downward spiral that we saw across the multitude of markets earlier this year. So if we can get a close today and tomorrow on this, the volumes aren't gigantic yet, okay, on these last 2 days. So it's literally kind of like no one's pushing this down yet. That's not to say it won't come down. And arguably what I will do actually is draw a potential buy opportunity for myself, because I do love accumulating this project. I'm looking at kind of like that $9.7 mark, arguably and then a lower point maybe of around 880ish. Only because I like this pinpointed here from historic data. Let me just draw in where I'm talking about here. So you can see this area here is of great interest to me, just around that 950 mark. Why is it? Because if you look across this line, you have multitude of touch points, both wicks and general candlesticks in general, but also here. Look at that. Look at that resistance there. We had support here, and we've had done since around the 2nd of October. We tried to attempt this area on the last 2, 3, 4 days before the 2 days just gone, sorry, including today. We've had kind of a rejection, so there could be one last opportunity maybe to get something around this area, in my opinion, before we start taking this up to next levels. The next pinpointed area which we did have some resistance at, or tried to touch upon yesterday, is around this 1168 mark. I think we'll try again if we can get support at this 1080ish level, but that's going to be probably in the next couple of days. Will we see some profit taking? That is possible, because you have had this nice rise up here. You've had a bit of profit taking. You have another rise here. So it's given an opportunity second time round for people who missed this one, taking some again. But like I said, this number of volume reduction isn't massive. We're still in a bullish momentum on the MACD. The histogram here is showing still an intake of nice volume and purchasing. We're not over purchased massively yet at all either, in my opinion. We're just floating around a nice area here. The RSI is pretty much in the middle, so there's plenty of room in the tank, in my opinion, for this one. So I do anticipate, hopefully, during this week at some point, we will start testing this 1160, and arguably even if the bullish momentum continues, we may start seeing a more of an attack towards that $13 and that $14 mark as well. But we will probably see some elements of resistance, especially where we drew this kind of line before here, if you remember, around the 13.14 mark. 13.14, by the way, guys, for those that are listening, not watching. So guys, we're going to wrap this up there, but I think there's some couple of decent moves coming. This blue area is of interest for me right now, and the next 48 hours is really critical to decide where we're going. Will we have a drop back down to this area here at 1026, or even a drop down to test this area, like I said, around this 9.8, 9.7 mark? Really interesting, but hopefully we can gain support here and push ourselves up to 11.55. No matter what I say here right now, guys, do your own research. Check out our previous videos, especially the ones related to the energy crisis, especially here in the UK. Absolute nonsense media narrative going on right now. But do check those out. But more importantly, trust in this project, because these are the kind of asset projects you want to get involved in. AI, IoT sector, energy especially. Energy Web Foundation is an absolute powerhouse in the making. Okay, guys, we'll leave that there. Let us know in the comments below if you're holding EWT. What are your thoughts and opinions on EWT? And guys, I just hope I see all of you on the moon. But don't forget to fuel up if you're stuck in the UK, because it's probably going to go on for a bit longer. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.